Hello, all you writers out there. It's time to learn more about what you need to know to write, publish, and promote an amazing book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I go live every Friday with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, author of the best-selling Nun Better, An Amazing Love Story. We are in the midst of two books that are coming out in June that we are writing together. This is a whole new experience, except for the book I wrote with Billy D. Williams. And really excited because Joni and I just have this creative synergy that makes magic happen for you as the reader. Meanwhile, we've learned lots of lessons to share with you. So welcome, Joni.
Hi there, Elizabeth. Yes, we have learned lots of lessons, and yes, there's magic. And oh, it's good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody.
Mhm. So today's topic is inspired by our collaborations because Joni wrote her passages, I wrote my passages, and when you sit down, you never know what's going to come out because it's spirit led or it's from your heart, your soul, your deepest personhood, your higher self. And you don't know what's going to come out when you sit down to write, and then you're like, oh, wow. And I've had some revelations, like things I've never put into words or actually made a coherent thought about during the course of this, Joni. So I've shared that with you. But tell me about your own experience with that.
Oh, absolutely. And I have my prop today. Are you ready? It
Yes.
may seem and look funny, but it sure means a lot to me. I call it magic fingers, my gloves, because when you sit and you just start typing, it's a no-brainer. The brain isn't working. It is literally just an experience of wow, like the wind is blowing, the magic fingers are going, and things just exude from somewhere. And I believe it's spiritual and divine where it comes from, but it is so powerful. It's like you're in a different world, you're in a different orbit. And everybody, when I read Elizabeth's yesterday, I think it was chapter 2 or 3, one of those in our brand new book, Joyously Free. I lost it. I thought she's in that mood. Her fingers are going like crazy. I could just feel her heart or her fingers just letting it rip on the page. And when you read this, think chapter 2 or chapter 3. I don't remember exactly, and we haven't quite figured all that out yet. But oh my gosh, you're gonna just go flame.
Yes, yes, yes. It's really amazing. Thank you. I love the way you just expressed that. It's really fun. So,
Oh,
thanks, Joni. And
you're
really,
welcome.
mhm. So in order to get into that state, all of you writers out there, in order to get into that state, you have to shut out the noise of the world, turn off all the notifications on your phone and other devices. Um, Clear the time so you won't be interrupted, so you don't have activity all around you that's distracting. And also do it at a time when your energy is good. Like for me, it's morning after my coffee and green drink. And that's when my brain is just in my genius zone. So I use that time to do the writing because later, after dinner or whatever, I'm usually not as sharp. And so know your body, know your brain energy, and get in that zone then. And then just let it go. Just write from your heart and soul. And you can start by just getting down whatever ideas are coming, and then all of a sudden it's going to blossom. You'll remember, oh, I want to say this, and it'll just come to you. And it's really a magical experience. You,
Totally.
hmm. So then we also invited contributors from across the country to um, share their stories in both Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts, both of which are available for pre-order at twosisterswriting.com. And they too have just written stories that have been in their heart and soul, but they may never have expressed in written word. And so that's pretty exciting as well. And so
Totally, totally.
we,
And that reminds me, yesterday I met with Eve, one of our contributors, and I was asking her about it. I said, Eve, how did this happen? She goes, I don't know. It just like came from nowhere. And the next thing I know, it's there. And she said
yeah.
it was so cool to just have those memories flood, was one of her
Mhm.
words, flood out of herself. It
Mhm.
was just incredible. And yeah, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Oh, It's just invigorating. It is just so invigorating. And I know I'm a like excited and hyper kind of person anyway, but it's even more so when these things happen for you. And as you're listening to this, everybody, I can just imagine that you've had some of these experiences too, that they're unexplainable. They're just magic. They're it's like the wind that just blows and blows. Like right now, we have 10-mile-an-hour winds here on the Southern Oregon coast, and the winds are blowing, but you don't see the wind. You see the trees, you see the flowers, you see the whatever. But and that's what this writing is about when it happens. You don't see it, you feel it, and you just have to trust. You have to trust. And I know that's what you did when you wrote, Elizabeth. I know you just had to trust in what was coming out onto those magic fingers of yours. Oh, it's just
Yes, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I love the way you just said that because you have to trust yourself too. And you have
Mhm,
to ask, well, who am I talking to? We've done a whole talk about that. So please go back and watch all the Friday lives we've done talking about everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. One very important one is, who are you writing for? Who is your target audience?
mhm,
And so in order to unleash the most clear message for them, you have to know who they are.
mhm,
And so
mhm,
Joni and I have that in our heads as we sit down to write. It's like a conversation. And
mhm,
that's really
mhm,
exciting as well. So you need to know who you're talking to for the most relevant guidance to come out. Or if you share a story about yourself, it has to be like, well, how can people relate to this? And what can they learn from it? Because you don't want your book to be me, I, but you do want to share your personal story so they can get to know, like, and trust you. You agree,
mhm.
Joanie?
Oh, totally. Yes. And that was a challenge for me when I wrote None Better, because I kept wanting to say I, because it was my experience. But I thought, no, this isn't going to, I don't want to be egotistical about it. I want to share the point, the meaning behind it. And that's where I guess the word radical sort of comes to my mind. It's like you have this radicalness that just needs to come forward, and that's who you are, or that's what your opinion is, and to know that your radicalness in these words on this page will impact the reader, and that's who you're gearing it to. And you've taught me that in your book coaching, first day of book coaching. I remember that. You just,
Mhm.
who are you writing it to? Who are you
Yeah.
talking to? You know,
Yes.
and and that just keeps coming to my mind. And even
Mhm.
as we're doing our podcast right now, I'm thinking of certain people, of what might help them. And I think the bottom line is to trust and to believe in that spirit that will guide you, and take your heart from one place to another. And that radicalness and I think that's why we named it Joyously Free. It's when you are totally, totally radically free with your thoughts, your opinions of who you are and what you have to say and proclaim. It's all fantastic. It's all
Yeah.
joyously free.
And
Yeah.
so, one way to know what's best to say to your audience when you get in this flow is to recall questions you've been asked by them. So, for example, as a
Yeah.
book coach, if I'm going to be talking about things that people need to know to write a book, what are the most common questions people ask me as a book coach and publisher? Well, then I talk about that in a way that answers their question. And you too, Joni, at many events have been asked various questions, and therefore those have been addressed in Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts.
Yes. Yeah. That's a really, 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 really good point, because questions can trigger you to really meet the needs of who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know this about me. I do ramble. I do use a lot of words, and your mantra, less is more. I keep working on that as well, because when that heart is exploding, there's so many directions and ways that it goes, and to be able to actually eventually edit that, trim it down, whatever you need to do to make it more clear is the best. So all these
Mm-hmm.
components sort of fit together, but it starts from that spirit of just magic happening.
Yes, 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 yes. And those questions come from other people's heart and soul. And they might be
Mhm,
questions they've never asked anybody before. So
mhm,
what we're doing is a really holy act. We are
mhm,
helping people on such a grand scale, especially when it comes to sensitive topics like religion or being LGBTQ plus. And so we want to make sure that when we write in with the goal of helping people, it's not preachy, it's not condescending, it's not superior. It's I'm here to help you. I've walked this
Right.
walk, I've talked this talk, and here's what I've learned, and here's what
Mm.
can help you. And
Yes.
so a lot of people want to share their life story, but they also want to share teaching. Like they have a whole teaching section in the book. This is a very common trend that we experience here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. And so they tell their story, and that endears them to the reader, and the reader's like, oh, look what they did. And then there's a section on how to, which is really, really helpful. But again, I know in the course of composing the sort of how-to stuff in our books, Joanie, it just flows out. I'm like, oh, where'd that
Right.
come
Right. Right.
from? What
Right.
I and I trust it. I
Mhm.
trust it. I trust this is what I'm supposed to convey here.
Mhm. Mhm. And what I like about it is, Elizabeth, that it's a journey that you and I are on, and the readers will be on. It's a journey. We don't have all the answers for, I barely have answers for myself, but for a reader, these will just give you insights, and we call them tips, stories and tips to find your love and peace, stories and tips to find the true you, living your truth. And those are just tips that maybe you can take and put in your heart and then put out there for you to share with others, because maybe that's what resonates. It's not always that me, I thing. It's a journey together, and
Mhm.
it reminds me of today's Good Friday, the journey as a Christian, a believer in Jesus, my best friend. To me, that's what his life was all about. People were on a journey with him when he actually walked on the human earth. He was on that journey with the people, whether they agreed with him or didn't agree with him. He was on a journey, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing with you as readers, is helping you to be on your journey via our journey. And then it's one journey. And to me, that's spiritual, one journey for all of us. We're all on the same mission, I think, to have a better, healthier, happier world, happier selves, love in our lives. Oh, Jiminy, don't get me going on all that. It's just too exciting.
I love it, love it, love it. It's so exciting. So our question to you, all you aspiring writers out there, is what can you do today to get into that zone where you just allow the free flow of whatever is supposed to be expressed in your book without fear? Because unfortunately, sometimes when we sit down to write, what we want to say gets filtered through fear, anxiousness about what will other people think. If we're truly, truly
Oh,
honest,
oh,
that's very difficult. So we
yeah,
find
yeah,
ourselves editing before we even put the words down because we're like,
yeah.
oh no, I can't say this, or this is going to upset so and so, or blah, blah, blah. So it's your book and you can write whatever you want. Of course, be cognizant of any consequences to your reputation, your career, some things can have legal ramifications if you publish them without either permission to use someone else's intellectual property, or if you write something incriminating about somebody that's not been documented in actual legal proceedings, um, you can get in trouble. So just know that. But when you're doing something altruistic from the goodness of your heart, don't be stopped by worrying what other people will think.
Mm-hmm,
What you write
mm-hmm,
could literally save someone's life.
mm-hmm,
Your
mm-hmm.
words could literally be the life raft that someone needs to lift up from an abyss of depression or wherever they might be, despair. So just know
Yeah,
that it's so powerful. It's a calling.
yeah. Oh,
It was,
Elizabeth, that was awesome. I could just see somebody throwing a life raft to somebody off of a boat or into a swimming pool because they're going down or they're struggling or they're in chaos. And I can just
Mhm.
see that life raft and just grabbing onto that. It's a great analogy. Oh
Oh,
my
thank you.
gosh.
Thank
That is just awesome. Wow. Wow. And I
Thanks.
guess I've been a recipient of that life raft with other people and other things that I've been able to grab onto in my life. And at the same time, I'm able to throw that life raft. But you're right. Don't worry about what you're going to say on those pages. Think about it, but don't worry about it. And that's that spirit thing again. That's that spirit thing again.
It'll give you confidence.
Mhm.
It'll give you
Confidence,
confidence.
courage.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So here's a big word. I think we've done a talk about this before, Joni, is why.
Yeah.
When you know your why am I writing this? Why am I sitting here for hours and hours on end and going through all this? Why? When you understand your why, you'll see that it's way bigger than you. If you're called to write a book, it's not so much about you, it's about who you can touch with the book, whose life you can improve by sharing your story and your guidance. So
Right.
knowing your why. And so how do you know your why? Well, first of all, you've got the idea and the drive to write a book, but take some time, sit quietly, reflect, journal, just write on a piece of paper or your laptop or desktop. Why do I want to write this book? Why is it important? And then just explore it. Just have a stream of consciousness. Whatever comes to mind, write it out. If your goal is to be famous and a New York Times bestseller and get a movie deal, write that. Just be honest.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
If your reason is that lots of people keep saying, oh, you should write a book, but you don't really want to write a book, then don't do it. But lots of our authors have been told for years by people, you should write a book. And when they
Yeah.
finally do, it's very successful. And then the people start saying, you should make a movie. And that's what we did with our mother's book, which is now in the fourth draft of the screenplay that will soon be shopped to Hollywood.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that why is super important. And I can think back to your coaching class again. That was the very first handout you gave. And it took me a couple days to actually comprise what that why was for me. And for
Hmm.
me, the why was I wanted people to know that from our story, they could have a story of love and bliss, as you would say, and to be able to share that and to then journey with other people. That was my why. I could share something freely and openly, and it could help them, hopefully. And that's what it was all
Nice.
about. It wasn't about making the zillions of dollars or having a movie or whatever. That's not what it's about. It's, to me, changing hearts.
Hmm.
Change hearts.
Hmm. Hmm. I
Yes.
love that, Joni. So everybody out there, let it flow. Trust the flow. If you get stuck, um, just sit and get quiet and go within and say, what else am I supposed to write? Or get up. Here's what I do when I'm stuck. Or if my energy goes down and my brain isn't moving as fast, I get up and do something else. I go exercise, I go vacuum, I do something. And then typically, while I'm doing that other thing, ideas just start to pop. And then I always write them down. So if I have paper and pen, I write them down. But if I don't, I put them in my phone and revisit them later. So you just
Mhm.
need to get up and shake things up a little bit, literally, your body, your energy, your space, move to another room, whatever you need to do. And those ideas will start to flow. So
You
it's
are
really,
so filled with so many tips. Oh my gollies. It's like I should be creating this list of just all those Elizabeth tips because you've done this for years and it works for you and your advice and your suggestions help me and I bet you they help other people. So thank you for that, Elizabeth. You just keep pouring them on and reminders. I know you've probably said that to me before, or maybe we've said it on a podcast. But again, it's a reminder to do and be those kind of things.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, Joni, you're doing the same thing. So together, teamwork makes the dream work to help other people. Nobody can do these things alone. You need a team and a team of inspiration and expertise, and that's what helps make the magic happen in publishing.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure,
Mhm.
for sure. You know,
Yeah. So anything else, Joni, that you want to share about allowing ourselves to just let it flow?
oh, probably just two words: be calm and be relaxed.
Nice, nice,
You
nice,
know,
nice.
be calm and be relaxed, and it'll happen. It'll
Hmm.
happen.
Hmm.
I don't
I
have
love
the
it.
answers of why on that, but it'll happen. It'll happen in your time, in your place. Just be calm
Mhm.
and relaxed.
Mhm. I love
Yeah.
it. Excellent.
How
So
about
very,
you? Any final words from you?
yeah, because I'm talking about let it flow and be calm, relaxed, but you need a strategy first. You need an outline. You need a schedule. And so it's not this esoteric thing. It's a structured, scheduled,
Mhm, mhm,
uh, solid plan for actually writing the book. And the
mhm,
time is not going to just materialize on its own. You have to schedule time, allocate
mhm,
time. That's your best brain energy
mhm,
time to do
mhm,
the work.
mhm.
So, yeah, that's important to have a strategy, not just some fluffy thing. It's it's hard work. And the
Yes.
more you strategize from the beginning, as I teach in my book coaching program, which starts April 11th, you can learn more at twosisterswriting.com under coaching. What I teach, and I've taught to Joanie, which she did, is that the more structure you have from the beginning, having an outline, having a schedule, having a target publication date, having a vision for your cover, understanding what artwork you want to use, photos or graphics in the book, the more you have as your strategy at the beginning, the more efficient and fast you're going to be when you actually sit down to write the book. Because you did the heavy lifting at the beginning. And
Mhm,
so with
mhm.
Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts, we started with really solid outlines.
Yes.
Then it becomes like a I liken it to the human body skeleton. The outline is the skeleton, and then we start putting organs in it and heartbeat, give it a heartbeat, we give it a point of view, which is the eyes, we make it pretty, we give it muscle, and we just flesh it out. And that's a really exciting process.
Oh, that's like the old game when I was a little kid, the potato thing. Oh, you got
Mr.
to stick the
Potato
heart
Head.
on, got to stick the eye on, got to, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. Oh, that's
And
cute.
Mrs. Potato Head. We had those. And also that book Operation. I mean that
Oh, I
game
love that.
Operation. Wasn't that fun?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yep,
But Mr.
yep.
Potato Head is a perfect example. You start with this potato and nondescript, and then you put the eyes, you create the whole personality with the various pieces.
Right,
Love it.
right,
Excellent,
right.
Joanie. Well, thank you.
Thank
Um,
you. And that reminds for my way of understanding that as well, besides Mr. Potato Head, is a game plan from coaching. March Madness is going on and great. My favorite time of year. It's my favorite season. We've got baseball, we have basketball, we have springtime. It's like a real good season. But the game plan for coaching is similar to Mr. Potato Head. You have the components of what you want, and you have to be clear on what that game plan is in order to succeed and win and create this incredible book. And everybody out there, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And you've got the coach right here. So I guess she would be like the queen potato head, you know.
very
And I don't mean that
fun.
derogatory. I mean that positively. She knows where
Oh,
and how to put the things in conjunction with your own thoughts and your feelings and your ideas and your spirit movement.
Thank you, Joni. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, all of you, for joining us on yet another talk every Friday live here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel, where we share everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote that best-selling book that can help people everywhere. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. Please visit us at twosisterswriting.com. There you can learn about all the services we offer as publishers, book coaches, And you can also see Joanie's author page, among other authors, where you can learn about Nun Better and see all the places where she's going to be, where you can meet her in person. And also you can learn about the promotions for Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts. You can pre-order your books and see all the events that we're going to do, starting with together we'll be at Detroit Pride in June of 2024. So
June 8th
yay!
and 9th, Detroit, June 1st, Brookings. Those are the two kickoffs.
Brookings, Oregon, for those of you who are
Oh,
familiar
sorry.
with
Yes.
Brookings. It's a beautiful town on the coast of the Pacific Ocean in Southern Oregon, where Joanie lives.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, if you celebrate Easter, happy Easter.
Yes.
Happy Good Friday. May your life sparkle with blessings, and may your book be one of them.
Oh, oh, beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Everybody have a beautiful, beautiful day. Let your heart and soul rip. Big hugs.
All right. Big hugs to everybody. Thank you and happy writing.
Right. Bye. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Joanie.
You bet.